I'm the executive director of the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. I want to thank all the members of the press who are attending today. We have an emergency situation with our brother CAIR-Shaikh, and I'm going to read a statement to you, but I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what is going on. The brother and his wife were married in January, the end of January 30th, and shortly thereafter, they went on their honeymoon to the U.S. Virgin Islands. And once they came back, his wife was detained and has been detained ever since. So they're newlyweds, they were married. She's a Palestinian, of Palestinian origin, but she was born in Saudi Arabia. She came here when she was 8 years old with her family. They're here legally, and they have been abiding by all the rules and the laws of this country, and this is a very unfortunate incident, to say the least, but this is where we stand right now. And it's, as of this morning, he's received a call from ICE, or he called ICE, and they're planning to deport her to God knows where. Nobody knows where. I don't think we even know where she's being held now. She was in the valley, and now she's being held here somewhere close to us in the DFW area. So I'm going to read a statement that we prepared in light of all of this. And it says, the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, i.e. CAIR-DFW, is holding this emergency press conference today to address U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, other known as ICE, apparent plan to deport Ward Sakeik to an undisclosed location as early as tonight. Sakeik is a stateless Palestinian newlywed who was detained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, upon returning from her honeymoon in February of 2025. Despite a pending green card application, a lawful marriage to a U.S. citizen, and a spotless compliance record, ICE has notified relatives that Sakeik could be removed as early as tonight, but authorities will not disclose the destination country. And by the way, this is the only country she knows. She has not been raised in any other country. This is the country she's been in since she's 8 years old. Her husband, Brother CAIR-Shaikh, fears she could be sent to Egypt, Congo, China, or any nation willing to accept her, to which she has no connection. After their honeymoon to the U.S. Virgin Islands, Sakeik has been detained for several months, and her current whereabouts are unknown. Her husband has been recently unable to contact her and have received few answers from ICE officials. And it's just simply inhumane and shameful that a person who has followed every rule laid out by our government should be deported, especially a bride separated from her husband for simply taking a honeymoon. So without further ado, I let Brother Tahir make his statements, if you know.
Of course. Thank you, Brother Mustafa, for the statement. Honestly, on my behalf, the way I see it is there's two sides of the story. The life that my wife lived here before we went on our honeymoon, and the life she was looking to create after we returned from our honeymoon. And that's the side that I can speak on. The side where for 3 years of knowing her, dating her, buying our home 12 months ago, renovating it brick by brick, setting up our wedding events, and her being a wedding photographer and taking so much passion in doing so, choosing our honeymoon destination, going through a lawful green card application just for us to be separated as soon as she gets the chance to actually become a permanent resident in this country that she's known more than even the country of birth, which doesn't accept her as a citizen. That's why she is stateless. But that's my side of the story. That's the story that I can tell. as my wife hasn't been able to speak to me for 48 hours, ever since she called me 2 nights ago saying she's leaving the facility, I can only imagine what she's thinking as she's probably being sent from detention center to detention center, boarding a plane to who knows where, after this country showed her every aspect of the American dream. They gave her a driver's license and she went to school with it. And she got 3 bachelor's degrees in 3.5 years from the University of Texas at Arlington. They gave her a work authorization card. She went and started her own wedding photography business in DFW. They gave her a marriage license so she could create her life with me. All for it to be separated when we're ready to start that journey after the honeymoon. Every identity that she was given by this government is now being stripped, and she's being sent to, like Brother Mustafa said, an undisclosed location. They don't even have the courage to tell us where our wife is being sent after giving her a life here for 15 years. And I've been trying everything in my head to reverse engineer how that makes sense, how it can be justified. And I don't see it. So I think about what my wife's thoughts have been for the past 48 hours. I think about the life that was given to her. And as soon as she wanted to become American on paper, here's what we have.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brother Tahir. We'll now open the floor up for any questions that you might have.
Sir, can you talk me through? So you got back from your honeymoon. What happened?
We got back from our honeymoon after only spending 24 hours in the home we built together, by the way. We get to the airport. They ask for our statuses. They ask to see some type of proof that my wife is here, being supervised, complying. We hand them her compliance papers. We show them, look, she's actually checking in July for her regularly scheduled ICE annual check-ins. They said, just show us this and she'll be released when she returns to Dallas. That didn't happen. So what happened is we had to board the same plane going to Miami, but we weren't even allowed to speak to each other. They threatened her by saying, if you even speak to your husband on this plane, there will be consequences. We had to board the same plane, meet eye to eye, but I see her surrounded by men. That is not me. And so one person goes back to their home in Dallas, the other is sent to a detention center. And it's been 120 days.
What has it been like for you over the last 120 days?
Every aspect of the life that you wanted to create with someone. The bike rides you take on Sunday afternoons, going and helping her set up her photography equipment for her weddings, making meals for Ramadan, which she didn't even get to celebrate. In fact, the best part of that home that we built together was the fact that she is the person that wants to welcome people inside the home. She didn't get to make one single meal in the home that we built over the past 12 months. But you know what she did do? She bought enough commissary food in the detention center to feed 18 women just to show her our cultural practices, to be in the spirits of Ramadan, to be in the spirits of giving. And that's one example of many. So she's trying to keep those spirits alive, but isolated. And because of her isolation, it causes me to go into isolation. Because why do I deserve to keep going on with my life when I see what my wife is going through for 120 days? There's plenty of survivor's guilt.
Do you know how she came to the U.S. when she was 8 years old?
She came with her family from Saudi Arabia. She came here on a visitor's visa. She does not hold citizenship from the country of Saudi Arabia. She was a refugee there as well. Her crime is the fact that when she came here, when she was 8 years old, she's stateless. She doesn't hold citizenship in any part of this world. And 15 years ago, when her family tried to claim asylum, they weren't able to be deported because they hold citizenship in no part of this world. And so they've been given strict orders of compliance. We will give you a life to live here. All the other aspects of being able to integrate into society, so as long as you comply. So as long as you become a model citizen. And for 15 years, it's been just that.
Now, they said that Trump has said that they're targeting social media accounts. Has she ever posted anything online that might have made her a target?
Absolutely not. My wife is very well aware that she is from the part of the world that she is from. My wife is very well aware of her ancestral roots. And although, yes, it is a feeling that she coincides with being from that part of the world, she knows the opportunities that she's being given by this country. And so a part of her has had to suppress that voice because she knows the opportunity she's being given from this country. And so she's always chose to suppress because she wasn't given the pass of a US passport like many others. So yes, even though there has been a sense of feeling for her ancestral roots, at the end of the day, she has complied. She has made sure that she knows where she stands, and she knows that being in this country was and is a privilege. And that's what she's abided by.
Was she ever warned not to travel out of the country, especially with the new administration, as far as the visa that she has? Has she ever been warned?
So it's a great question. You have to imagine that we got married on January 31st. We did not see the stream of events that we have seen over the past 4 months unfold when we get married and decide to go to the US Virgin Islands. We don't see how every government agency is working hand in hand and targeting people. We didn't see any of this. All we saw was she has a driver's license. I have a passport. We are allowed to go to a US territory and travel. It was chosen very specifically. And for that reason, we made that move. We asked TSA agents. We asked CBP officers in Dallas. We asked the American Airlines gate agent, checked out by all three, just for us to then be told on the way back, lied to, saying, show us your ICE check-in paperwork, that you actually do have an annual check-in and that you do actually abide by your check-ins. Still lied to and not released.
How many, when she was in detention, how often did you communicate with her?
Every day. Every day.
Phone or messaging?
Phone, video calls. She's been transferred to 3 facilities. The one facility she was at the longest, the Valley. She was in a facility filled with 90% of people that didn't speak English or her language of origin. Speaking to her was her lifeline. Our video calls were her only lifeline. There was no method of communication with others besides doing things like making them meals, putting blankets on them when they're cold, doing coloring projects together, communicating through body language. That has been her life for 120 days. So yes, those calls were absolutely vital, not just for her, but for me. And now I've been stripped of that for the past 48 hours. I have no idea where my wife is. They didn't even let her make a phone call yesterday when she was transferred to Prairie Land Detention Center.